You were told your weight is a math problem. Calories in, calories out. Eat less, move more. And for 30 years you believed it, because it worked. Then you turned 50, and the math stopped adding up. The same plate that once kept you lean now settles around your middle and refuses to leave. You eat less than you used to, and still it stays. Here is what no one told you. It was never your willpower, and it was never really your metabolism, not the way you've been led to picture it. Somewhere inside you, an organ went quiet. An organ most doctors will never mention. An organ that science itself insisted adults did not even possess until the year 2009. It sits in your neck, above your collarbones, along your spine. And for as long as it stayed awake, it made a single quiet decision about every meal you ever ate. How much your body would store, and how much it would simply burn away as heat. This is the forgotten organ that controls your weight, and it is not your thyroid. Before this is over, I'll show you 3 things. First, what this organ is, and why for decades even scientists swore grown men didn't have it. Second, why it falls asleep as you age, and the one ordinary habit that switches it off faster than anything else. And third, the ancient practice used by cold-dwelling monks for centuries, long before anyone had a word for it. The practice that wakes this organ back up. But I have to warn you now, done carelessly, done in the wrong order, that same practice does nothing at all. For some men, worse than nothing. So stay with me, because with this organ, the sequence is everything. Most of the fat on your body is white fat, a storehouse. Every calorie you don't burn, it tucks away. The fat you can see, the fat you fight in the mirror. But there is a second kind of fat, and it does the opposite. It's called brown fat. Brown because it's packed with mitochondria, the tiny iron-rich engines that give it its color. White fat stores fuel. Brown fat spends it. When it activates, it pulls sugar and fat straight out of your bloodstream and does what almost no other tissue can. Burns them, purely to make heat. Scientists call it thermogenesis. Researchers describe it as a metabolic sink. It pulls nutrients in and keeps them from being stored as white fat. That is the forgotten organ that controls your weight. Not because it melts fat off you overnight. I won't tell you that. And any man who does is selling you something. Scientists still argue about how far it moves the scale. But here is what they no longer argue about. This tissue helps govern your blood sugar and your insulin. It shapes how your body decides, meal after meal, whether fuel gets burned or stored. And for most of the 20th century, medicine believed it vanished the moment you left the crib. Brown fat was a baby's organ. It's how an infant, unable to shiver, keeps itself warm. The textbooks said that by adulthood, it was gone. They were wrong. In 2009, 3 separate research teams pointed modern imaging at grown adults and lit up glowing deposits of active brown fat, exactly where I told you, the neck, above the collarbones, along the spine. Those papers are now seen as the rediscovery of an organ that had been hiding in plain sight for the entire history of medicine. An organ we forgot we were carrying. The question is no longer whether you have it. The question is whether yours is still awake. And here is the hard part. When researchers scan for active brown fat, they find less and less of it in 2 kinds of people: older adults and people already carrying extra weight. Read that again slowly, because the trap is inside it. The very organ that helps keep weight off is the one that goes quiet as you age, and quiet as the weight arrives. The moment you need your furnace most is the moment it burns lowest. Nobody warned you in your 40s. There's no symptom, just a slow, silent dimming, year after year, until the man in the mirror is heavier than the one who used to eat twice as much. So what puts it to sleep? Comfort. Your brown fat has one job: to make heat when your body needs it. But you've built a world where your body almost never needs to. Heated homes, heated cars, heated offices. A life lived, year-round, in a perfect 72 degrees. You've removed the one signal that ever told this organ to wake up and burn. That's the ordinary habit. Not a food, not a drug. The constant warmth you've surrounded yourself with. Your comfort has been quietly switching off the organ that controls your weight, which is why the men who kept this organ alive were never trying to. High in the Himalayas, monks trained in a practice they called tumo, inner fire. Wrapped in thin robes in the snow, they raised their own body heat through breath and cold until steam rose off their skin. They had no word for brown fat. They didn't need one. They had found the switch. The same thread runs everywhere the winters were hard. The cold plunges of mountain peoples, the river rituals of the north. None of them knew the biology. All of them found the same truth. Deliberate cold does something to the body that comfort never will. What the monks called inner fire, science now calls thermogenesis. Two names across 1,000 years for the same organ waking up. Cold is the signal. Below roughly 60 degrees, that dormant tissue in your neck and spine begins to stir, pulling sugar out of your blood, spending it as heat. You don't need a Himalayan winter. You need the signal. And this is the warning I promised you. Cold is a stress, a useful one, but a real one. When you expose your body to it, your vessels tighten and your heart works harder for a moment. For most men, that's exactly the stimulus you want. But if you carry unmanaged high blood pressure or a heart condition, this is the moment you talk to your doctor first, not after. There's no prize for rushing this. That's why the sequence matters. A man who fills a tub with ice on day one, teeth chattering, white-knuckled, learns one thing only, that he never wants to do it again. The practice dies by the weekend. The men who wake this organ do the opposite. They start almost gently, and they let the cold get colder than they're comfortable with, slowly, over weeks. Not heroically, deliberately. Here is how. It begins at the end of your shower. Finish washing in your normal warm water. Then, for the last 30 seconds, turn it cold. Not freezing, just genuinely cold. And don't brace against it. This is the part everyone gets wrong. Don't clench, don't gasp, don't fight it. Let your shoulders drop. Breathe slow and low through your nose, the way the monks did, and let the cold land on the back of your neck and your upper back. That's where the organ lives. That's where you aim it. 30 seconds. That's the whole of week 1. Each week after, you add. 30 seconds becomes a minute. Warm, then cold becomes cold a little sooner. On the days you can, step into the morning cold with less than you'd normally wear. And breathe. Let your body feel the season it was built to survive. You're not punishing yourself. You're sending a signal that comfort erased, turning the pilot light back on. Here is what to expect, honestly. Day 1, the cold will feel like an intrusion. Your body will protest. But watch the 90 seconds after you step out. That slow bloom of warmth rising from your chest and shoulders, warmer than the room around you. That is the furnace catching. That first day, the afterglow is the whole reward. Chase it. By day 7, the cold that shocked you feels ordinary. The gasp is gone. You stop dreading the last 30 seconds and start, strangely, to want them. That's not willpower. That's a nervous system relearning a signal it forgot, and an organ beginning to answer. By day 30, the change is quieter and deeper. Men who stay with it describe running warmer through the day, handling cold without thought, and a body that seems, slowly, to spend fuel more freely than it hoards it. I won't promise you a number on a scale. The science won't let me. And I won't lie to you, but you'll have done what most men your age never do. You'll have found the switch and thrown it on the organ that decides where your next meal goes. And once you understand this, one more door opens. Because brown fat doesn't run on magic. It runs on mitochondria, those same iron-rich engines that give it its color. Which means everything you just learned about waking this organ connects to a deeper switch inside every cell you own. The one that decides whether you spend your days full of energy or running on empty. I made an entire decoding of that cellular switch. The video hundreds of thousands of you have already found. Watch that one next. It's already waiting for you.